I'd like to call to order the Bradford Exempted Village Board of Education December meeting. And if we could please stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Dr. Swab.
Here.
Mrs. Brewer. Here. Mr. Biesecker.
Here.
Mr. Manuel. Mrs. Hill.
I'd like to welcome everyone here this evening, and Mr. Manuel and Mrs. Hill are both at the high school basketball game. We encourage them to participate with their kids are playing this evening. They reviewed the agenda and forwarded any concerns to me, so we wanted to make sure that family is important, that they're able to participate watching their kids play. And I'd like to welcome everyone here this evening. And first item is approving our agenda. Do we have any additions or deletions to the agenda printed?
I move to approve.
And a second, please.
I'll second.
Thanks. Any, no additions? Roll call for approval, please.
Dr. Swab.
Yes.
Mrs. Brewer.
Yes.
Mr. Biesecker.
Yes.
Short list. Next is approving the agenda, approving the minutes from our November 21st meeting. Thanks, Scott. And
Second.
Maria, second. Any discussions or additions? If none, roll call for approving the minutes, please.
Dr. Swab.
Yes.
Mrs. Brewer.
Yes.
Mr. Biesecker.
Yes.
Next is turning the meeting over to our administrative team for spotlight of our students.
Well, we appreciate everybody coming tonight. All of our students that are being recognized are here this evening. So thank you so much for taking your time to come, because I know it's a very busy time of year. So we'll keep things moving so everybody gets where they need to be. Our first nominated student is by Mrs. Mueller for Bella Yowie. Mrs. Mueller writes, I would like to recognize Bella Yowie for this month's Student Spotlight. She is the 8-year-old daughter of Sarah Sidens. But how do you really say it? Science Stricter. And Corey Yowie. She lives in Bradford on West Keller Street. She has one younger sister, and she has 3 dogs named Buster, Angel, and Boo Boo. She loves pizza. Her favorite thing to do at home is to play school. And when she grows up, she would like to be a teacher. Bella is in the 2nd grade, and she is always so eager to learn. She tries her best and puts effort into all that she does in my classroom. Things don't come easy to her, but she never gives up. She is showing up for practice. I am proud of her hard work, and it is paying off because I have seen progress. Great job, Bella, and congratulations. Come on up here, Bella.
Say cheese. Let's do this again.
Okay, here we go. This is for you. Mr. Bowder usually does this. I'm out of practice.
There we go. Congratulations.
All right, our next nominated student is Corden Mead. So Corden, why don't you come on up here? I remember he does this first. Come on up here. And he was nominated by Mrs. Schmitz. Mrs. Schmitz says, the student I am nominating for this month's Student Spotlight is a young man who gives a great effort every day, no matter how difficult the learning is for him. He has accommodations that he does not always use because he wants to be able to complete the work without making it easier. He is organized and helpful around the classroom. His classroom job is that of a custodian. They have like a classroom economy, and so you get to be the custodian. Well, that sounds like a good job. You like being a custodian? This is the perfect job for him due to his helpful personality. Congratulations, Corden Mead, on being an awesome railroader. And this is Corden Mead. Congratulations, Corden. Now, if you ever need to do more work, I always have a mess in my office, so come on over, okay, Gordon? And next we have Harleen Gamble. Come on up here, Harleen. This says, the student I am nominating for this month's Student Spotlight is Harley Gamble. Okay, I never knew that. I would call you Harleen. Harley is a great student. She's an excellent example of what a railroader should be. She goes above and beyond what is expected each day here at Bradford. Harley is always willing to do what is asked of her, including helping other students. you're seen all the time helping out everybody. You are such a good helper. She also does other jobs in the classroom to help out as well. Great job, Harley, and congratulations. Here you go.
Cameron, I would like, excuse me, I'd like to nominate Cameron Blackwell here as our student spotlight for the month of December. Cameron has shown remarkable improvement in academic performance. Throughout the academic year, Cameron has shown amazing commitment to his personal and academic growth. Every day he works hard in science class to stay on task and get his work done on time. His dedication to his studies has shown in the improvement across various subjects. Cameron's journey is a testament to the power of hard work, resilience, and a positive attitude. He has shown consistent effort to overcome challenges, to seek help when needed, and has not only resulted in improved grades, but also created a positive atmosphere in the classroom. Cameron actively engages in classroom discussions, asks insightful questions, and has demonstrated a desire to learn more. Cameron's persistence serves as a motivating example to his peers, showing that with determination and focused approach, anyone can achieve academic success. Great job, Cameron.
All right, next up, last but definitely not least, we have Miss Kaylin Richards. She was nominated by Mr. Park. Mr. Park said that he nominated her because of her attendance, effort, and willingness to participate in class, make her a model student. Her work is always completed and she is willing to participate in class. And if she, her work is always completed, and if she's willingness to participate in class make her a model student. Her work is always completed, and if she does miss a day, she will always make it a point to make the work up immediately. When we are doing discussions or lectures in class, and I pose a question, she is usually the one to answer first, and she understands the content and shows incredible critical thinking skills to see beyond the surface level information. She has always been one of my favorite students, and she is a fantastic addition to any classroom she is in. She represents the school very well and truly shows what it means to be a railroader. Congratulations.
Very good.
I do like you a lot.
I would like to congratulate everybody on their performance and their opportunity to come and celebrate their achievement with us. And we'll give you a few minutes if everybody would like to go home and get their evening started before we continue with the rest of the more mundane stuff of the meeting. We'll give them a few minutes so you guys can head out.
Yeah, I want to get a picture of everybody out in the hallway.
The one that got this certificate.
Congratulations. Congrats.
Yeah, that's a good group.
I think it's first time this year.
Yeah, that's pretty good. It's nice to have them have an opportunity to get recognized for their hard work.
Well, like we lost both of our principals.
We did, so
You want me to stand
I
up here and
guess,
give through? No, I'm just kidding.
so we'll adjust our
I
agenda.
was gonna say.
So how about,
There you go. You want Maria to-
yeah, Maria, why don't you give us your update?
I just have something real short. It's enrollment time at the Career Center. They had 1,415 students come through for their sophomores, and over 50% of those students applied. 43% of, everybody that could come came. You know, like sophomores in our district came. So, and over 50% of those students applied. So as of the first week after enrollment, we had 644 new students enrolled. We're over capacity, of course. Every program is full.
So what is the capacity?
Well, it just keeps growing. They used to stop their classes at 20, then they went to 25. Now we have 28 in some classes. So, and that leads to my next thing real quick. The Career Center was awarded a Career Technical Construction Expansion Grant for $12,698,000. And they're going to build on so we can expand our programs, not just build new programs, but make our current programs bigger. And it was the second largest in the state. And we just have to come up with 3,900,000.
Wow.
But they're giving us
Good
12
opportunity.
million. So
That's
that
pretty
was so
impressive.
awesome.
Great opportunity.
But, so for enrollment so far, and they take these up until April or May, until they start school, we had 644 juniors enrolled, and we have 448 seniors returning. So we have over 1,000. And they said like 8 years ago, we only had 600 total, and now we're over 1,000.
That's
But
good.
we're pretty maxed out.
Okay.
That's good.
That's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
Career tech's definitely on a high right now.
Yeah.
But I'll pass that. If you just want to see, like how many are enrolled for each program, it breaks it down. Of course, you see the biggest program on there is Coffee County, but,
Go figure.
but that's all I have.
Super. Any questions? Oh, cool.
All right, so we had the elementary spelling bee on December the 6th, and the 4th and 5th grade are the ones that participate. So you can see the ones who have participated. And overall, our winners were Hope Marsh and Mason Meyer, and that's the 4th and 5th grade. So they'll be representing Bradford at the county spelling bee in January. We started a new award this year. It's called the ABC Award Winners, and so we do this every month. And so they receive an award, and then Texas Roadhouse has kindly and generously given a coupon for me to use here at school. And so the A stands for academic, the B stands for behavioral, and C stands for creativity. So the teachers make these awards up, they write why they were chosen, and then they receive those awards. Those are some of the students who got them in November and December, and there are a couple, or a few more. And then these were our first quarter honor merit roll winners for the 4th and 5th grade as well, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade as well.
Michelle, what was our, do you have a total number of the kids on there?
A lot. I would say, let me think,
That's right.
I'd say there was probably about 90 total.
That's fantastic.
We also, during this holiday season, not just us, but the high school and junior high school as well, our student councils were collecting canned foods. I know that doesn't look the prettiest, but that's kind of what it looked like. We collected over 1,000 canned goods for the Community Resource Center, just the elementary. And you got 2,000 too?
It was over 2,000 canned goods total between the two buildings. It was impressive.
And my picture's not as pretty as what Chris's will look like. And then this was the Christmas party festivities. Today was party day, and they just had a great time during the parties. And that concludes my portion of the slideshow.
All right, so at the high school level, middle school, high school level, Mrs. Estes took her students to the Dayton Art Institute, which is a great experience for our students. She always takes the last couple years, she's taken the Art 3 and 4 students. They have a great trip, and the one thing that I like is when she comes back, she always tells me how respectful and how great our kids are, and how the people that are at the Dayton Art Institute would welcome us back every day, just because of the way our kids respond while they're there. Also had our district spelling bee as well. We had quite a few, we had over 25 students enter the spelling bee, which is the largest number that we've had in my 3 years here. But our first place winner is Mr. Landon McNutt, and second place is Nick Swiger, and third place was Jack York. They will also represent Bradford in January at the county spelling bee as well. Again, student council food drive, 2,000 between the two buildings. The elementary did beat the middle school, high school in the amount of canned goods, but it's,
Well, we did it for 2 weeks too. We only did it for a week.
well, they still have more.
They have more moms that participate.
Well, it's not a competition, all right? It was a great thing, which, I just applaud the community and just how everybody comes together. And, when you raise that many canned goods and everything, they were dropped off at the depot today. Mr. Cannon and a group of high school students took those over this afternoon. And then last but not least, we had Buddy the Elf and the Grinch and Beth Bubeck running around today, handing out candy canes to everybody. just for, the holiday season. Some upcoming events, don't have a ton going on. Of course, we're off for the next couple weeks because of winter break. And then Athletic Boosters is on the 27th. We do come back, the teachers come back on the 2nd. There will be no students on the 2nd. That is a professional development day. There's a PTO meeting on the 3rd, and then, did you change that?
I did.
Okay, so the organizational meeting is gonna be on the 9th. And then we do not have school on the 15th due to Martin Luther King Day. We have quite a few athletic events coming up, just with basketball, between girls basketball, boys basketball, and powerlifting getting going and everything. Numerous things going on. The big thing next week is the holiday tournament at Covington. Both our boys and girls basketball team will be participating in. So please come out and support the Railroaders. We did find out a couple weeks ago, we had 3 of our football players make All-State. So Hudson Hill was second team All-State as a receiver. Tucker Miller as a defensive lineman was third team, and Trey Smelzer was third team linebacker as well. So lots of awards for our football players, whether it be conference, all district, or All-State. So amazing job.
And that's me.
You're up next.
I will tell you, my sister dropped off her grandkids the other day and the Grinch was outside. And she said, "Oh, look, the Grinch is here." And Amira said, "That's not the Grinch, that's Mr. Daughtery and he needs to tie his shoe."
Well,
So she recognized his shoe right away.
that's funny because the kids kept on asking me who it was. He would do it
Uh-huh.
periodically throughout the week,
Yeah.
and a lot of the kids didn't know who it was.
She said it was Mr. Daughtery right away. She wouldn't even stop and talk to him. She went right around him and come in the building.
The kid well, he saw him walking down the hallway and finally said, "That's got to be Mr. Daughtery."
So I thought that was.
Kids, they pay attention to everything.
Yeah.
And I just got a note that the boosters meeting was moved to the 20th. Is that right?
That's possible.
So boosters meeting's coming up.
Okay.
Okay.
It's tomorrow.
That would be tomorrow, yeah.
You're up.
Okay, there's a screen here of the concession stand plans. We just met with the architect / engineer today. These, in my opinion, look wonderful and we're ready to move. We're hoping that we can pull it out for bid or start advertising for bid this next week. The blueprints are actually up here on the table, so after the meeting, if anybody wants to peruse through those and check them out, please do and give us any input you've got. Speaking of input, as soon as this thing takes off where we know the actual budget, we're going to start planning for the big building. We would like to put together kind of a wish list of what we want in that building and make sure that we've got. We wanted to make sure concession stand was checked off and bathrooms accessible over on this side were checked off and those type of things before we started planning that, making sure we had ample space for everything. But we're getting to the point where we're ready to start making that list. So if you have input, anybody in the community has input, please let me know. You should have, board members, at your desk, a Christmas card from the board office. And with the help of the FFA group, a Christmas ornament for your tree. So hopefully those things will be used for many years to come. We have and Merry Christmas to all. We have a calendar committee that has put together a couple of different options to go out to the staff members for vote in January. There's 2 questions that we want to kind of run past here that we want to talk about just a little bit. First of all, conferences, we looked at that and said there's the least amount of conflicts if we do conferences on Wednesday night. Parents can come in as they want to, don't have to necessarily go during certain times, so there's times outside of those. And open house.
It was open house.
Okay, conference. Yeah, conferences is right.
Conference is fine on that Thursday.
I'm saying this completely wrong.
Open house.
I was thinking conferences.
I think that's what your communication said too, conferences.
I
Yeah,
did say
it's
conferences.
open
I was
house.
wrong.
Okay,
I took poor notes during that.
okay,
So,
open house.
open house, different story, so sorry about that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Open house is suggested for Wednesday night. We've got the PD and the work days put together where it makes sense to lay on that night. Again, it would go, I don't remember times now. You guys remember times?
It's usually 2 hours, 5 to 7. I think.
I was gonna say, it seemed like there was a big enough split there. They could get to different activities if they wanted to. But wanted to make sure that wasn't an issue, number one. Number two, there was, a big push still to talk about doing something with around the Dark County Fair instead of waiting until after the Dark County Fair. So start, have a break, come back as one of the options. I know it's good for testing, it's good for days ahead of testing, those type of things. I don't know what the calendar really would look like. I know back in 2017, when we started here, we had that a similar piece where we started, took a break and then came back. I heard from a number of parents, those are the times that, kids are preparing their animals to go to the fair and those type of things. So I've heard both sides of that story. I'm not pushing for one versus the other. As a former ag teacher, I know the stresses of that, but as a former ag teacher and even parent of students that were in June Fair, I know that there's times that you can work around. So, like I said, just bringing that up, if there's any conversation or comments that anybody would like to make, we'll move on. But we set the parameters that we were going to start after the Dark County Fair. So that's what we've got right now. So.
I think Trey and Holly shared with me that some staff had approached them about the concern of delaying it and preferred to have something during the fair as a respect to getting more testing days. So I don't know if there is a right answer for that, but I think, testing time to study for the test is important, but also having studied for a bazillion tests and for 20, 30 years, it's efficiency of studying that helps. I've spent weeks studying and accomplished much in a couple good days. So I think it's good time that's important, not necessarily time. So how you support good time and not necessarily time, I think, is probably an important factor. They wanted me to forward that since they were both.
And I do think we
Sounds
received
good.
a lot of good comments about waiting till after the fair.
We did.
We had way more people complain that we started too early. I mean, they didn't
Yes.
want to start before the fair. So I think it was a very positive for the community was very happy when we made that change.
I had a number of parents echo that same
Right.
idea.
Yeah, when you look at the time too, parents' support of the time is important.
Mhm.
So, having more time in the classroom is good, but if the parents are frustrated not supporting the child in the evening to do some of the extra stuff, that
And I
May
think
not
it would
be
be
good.
hard if you start with your daycare and then you got to take a week off. I just think that's could make it harder on parents.
I know from a teacher's perspective, one of the biggest issues is that when you test in late April, you have a month, like even for myself, my curriculum has to be done by my testing. So I have a month's worth of class that I've already taught a year's worth of curriculum in 8 months. And you have a month left it's kind of open, but depending on the teacher and their style of teaching, what do you push? Do you push the next year's content? Do you focus back on what you didn't get to as well? And you get a lot of fall off from students. I think that's a bigger concern than anything. And when you get to going after Labor Day, or this is Memorial Day, I always forget. Memorial Day. When you get to going after that, you lose a lot of student commitment. And that's one that's on teachers to make sure you get the buy-in, but it's difficult as it warms up. And it gets nice and you have nice warm weather evenings to really focus in on your studies at that point. So I think that's the biggest teacher push is that you just don't have that commitment like you get earlier in the year. I think it's the biggest push that I've heard from our end at least. So if you're starting sooner, you get more of that focused time in and less of that, I don't want to call it fluff, but less of that time at the end of the year where you're not pushed by your standards as much because you're already done testing. So I think that's a bigger concern for teachers at that time. So.
That's all I have for my report.
Can I say something real quick
You sure
about family groups? We had family groups where we did a Christmas, and we had a slide.
We had a slide, I don't know where it went.
It's not gonna take a minute, but the kids all made ornaments and cards, and Holly's gonna take it to the Brethren home to give out. We've got over 250 ornaments to take over to the Brethren home. So I think it worked out really well. Sometimes there's not a lot of excitement going into it, but once we get them going, everybody seems to get into the flow of them. But I thought that was gonna be nice for Holly to take over there. So that's all.
Great, thanks. Thanks, Jerry. Carla?
I'm not going to have much of a report tonight, just, we have a lot of things going on in our office this time of year. And still trying to work on those grants, just applied for one with Upper Valley. I think Upper Valley, I looked at the list and they did receive the largest quantity of grants at 12 million, was the largest in the state.
Great.
So, they're allowing us to piggyback off some of that and trying to do something with the FFA. So we're trying that approach now to expand what's going on in vocational agriculture and try and take advantage of everything we can. But just know that we're working towards good goals here and we'll continue to do that. So that's my report tonight.
Thanks. I didn't have any requests for public participation. Zero. Did you? So the next item on our agenda is financial reports from the treasurer. And so there are items 1 through 17. And if you'd like to give us a quick overview,
Yeah.
a high-level overview of things that you should like to call out.
Most of the.
We've all had it to read and everybody's had the opportunity to review it, so.
And it's on the website for anybody watching.
Right. So if you would call out things that are important for us in our decision-making.
Number 4, I want to tell you about that. We have our AES grant, and Mr. Hertz didn't talk about it, but we've almost got, you actually have everything functioning except for.
We have one chart or a dual set of chargers that we want to test yet, but cars have been parked in the way. You can't get a bus in the parking space. So we're going to wait until tomorrow or Thursday to finish that.
That is, we need to get that done by the end of the year because AES is discontinuing that grant. So we've been fortunate enough that we're going to get everything in place to be able to take advantage of that. The other thing, of course, we're approving the budget, which is just more or less a ministerial act every year so that we can continue to collect tax monies. And it's just a reflection of the 5-year forecast for the most part. We did have some donations for some of the students in the cafeteria, and we received a nice donation today that I'm looking for on here. 11, that I think we'll be able to use very well on some of the projects we have coming up. But most of this, we're going to be applying for some grants, we're approving some grants, and that is the predominance of the report.
So thank you, Covington Eagles.
Yes, thank you very much. It's, you guys have always put those donated dollars to great use.
I move to approve items 1 through 17.
And I will second. Any discussion or further questions for Carla? If not, roll call for approval.
Dr. Swab,
Yes.
Mrs. Brewer,
Yes.
Mr. Bisecker.
Yes.
We have no old business. New business items are in the consent calendar agenda items 1 through 15. And Jeff, will you give us a call out the ones of importance for us to be aware of?
I certainly will. And I'm going to start with number 2, setting a president pro tem for our organizational meeting in January. Do we have nominations on who should start that meeting before we get a president elected?
Dr. Swab would be great.
Okay.
There you go.
Any objections?
We'll get it started.
Done. Other highlights here, number 6, the mileage rate. We follow that with the IRS. According to our contract, it's 5 cents less than what the IRS sets, so it'll be 62 cents this year. Flipping back to the next page, number 12, we have a couple grants going on that will help our process in the kitchen. Pranger's is going to come in and replace the freezer coils and all the guts basically in the existing walk-in freezer over Christmas break. We'll have a refrigerated truck and a few other pieces with that. Along with that, we'll have the dishwasher that we had voted on last month. And they're also hooking up the generator to run the coolers, which still floors me that the generator wouldn't operate the coolers when the electricity went out. So we're gonna fix that, and that's all done through grant funds. So we're very fortunate with that. And then the last thing, Mr. Barr even can elaborate on this if he saw something here that needed to, but we've got a program called New Science. I've touched base with this a little bit with number 15, that will help our students navigate through career choices and how to get to those points that I think will be very, very beneficial. So that being said, those are my items for the consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second. Any discussion or questions of items that he didn't call out that you need clarifications? If not, a roll call for approval, please.
Dr. Swab,
Yes.
Mrs. Brewer.
Yes.
Mr. Bisecker.
Yes.
The next item is construction related, I guess, approving closeout contract with Thunderbird Excavating. Motion to approve.
So moved.
And a second. Second. Thank you. Anything you needed to add?
Just working out the details with them, and then as soon as that's done, we can pay them.
Roll call for approval.
Dr. Swab,
Yes.
Mrs. Brewer.
Yes.
Mr. Bisecker.
Yes.
Next item is setting the annual board compensation per policy.
I move to approve 17.
And a second.
Second.
Roll call.
Dr. Swab,
Yes.
Mrs. Brewer.
Yes.
Mr. Bisecker.
Yes.
And we have no items for an executive session this evening. So our next motion is for adjournment.
So moved.
And a second.
I'll second it again.
And roll call for adjournment.
Dr. Swab,
Yes.
Mrs. Brewer.
Yes.
Mr. Bisecker.
Yes.
We stand adjourned. Thanks everyone for coming.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Thanks for coming and
Happy holidays.
Have fun making cookies? If I'm missing you?
Jason already made them. The kids are just painting them.
Okay.
And Harper's mad because the apples weren't ready, so I think they're delivering them today. She's like, we don't have school tomorrow. We don't have school. I said, you should have told me yesterday.
better hurry so you can get those cookies.
That's good. Yeah, check it out.
Yeah.
See you later.